It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Monster Monday presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. And it is a new week here on the mighty RTFP. You know what that means. I'll give you my thoughts on every game, actually, except for one on Sunday in the NFL. We actually are recording this Sunday night because Brian has to travel back from Tampa in the morning. I got to drive up to Buffalo to call the Bills and the Chiefs game on Westwood One. So we're actually doing this during the first quarter of the Rams and Niners. So on Tuesday's Power Rankings podcast, we'll give you Rams, Niners, we'll give you Bills, Chiefs, and we'll give you Cardinals, Cowboys. So 3 games on Tuesday's Power Rankings Tuesday edition of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. New week means new winners. We got to spread the word winners. By the way, you guys are doing an unbelievable job. There's no doubt in my mind we are getting more engagement, more likes, more retweets, more all of that stuff. Please keep it up at Ross Tucker NFL on both Twitter and Instagram. Facebook could use some more Facebook, folks. Facebook.com/Ross Tucker NFL. And I am giving out those YouTube shout outs every single week. It's a cameo style shout out for whoever you want, your buddies, your wife, yourself, your fantasy dudes, whatever. Just sign up at youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. And you can see that tonight, Brian is actually doing the show from the press box there, where he just saw the Bucs demolish the Green Bay Packers. We'll get into that momentarily. You also know about the sponsor confirmation email winner. Look, I'm racking up some serious press passes this week. Bills, Chiefs fans, where are you at? Giants, Eagles fans. How about even the Army folks? I'll be getting 3 press passes this week that you can win either by spreading the word via social media or taking advantage of any of our awesome sponsors. We love them. You love them. Just send me the email, ross@rosstucker.com. You're guaranteed to be able to ask me a question, and you might win a little something. Let's roll, Bri.
The Big Show.
All right, most of week 6 in the books, all the Sunday games anyway in the books, except for Sunday Night Football. Your takeaways, Ross?
Well, I do need to say this first, Bri, because I forgot. Shout out to a new patron, TJ Hoggo. He is a big Raiders fan. I mean, I can already tell. Patreon.com/RT Media. We actually got 3 new patrons over the weekend. I don't know if it's because they want to be able to easily see the even money bets or the Friday picks or the press box food grades, power rankings. I don't know what it is, but we got 3 over the weekend. Keep them coming. A great way for you to not have to write that stuff down. Patreon.com/RT Media. You know, Brian, I'm not sure I have a ton of huge takeaways from today. I think all of the late week COVID stuff was interesting. You know, the Jags put like 12 guys from their practice squad on the COVID list. The Eagles put Matt Pryor on there. The Ravens, Brandon Williams. The Falcons put a couple D linemen and a coach. Patriots put Sony Michel and James Ferentz and Shaq Mason, and it clearly affected them. I mean, clearly affected the Patriots. We'll get to that momentarily. But I do think it's interesting. All of these COVID-19 additions late in the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yet all the games went off without a hitch. There was no hiccup in terms of actually playing the game. So I guess I'm a little bit curious as to what the difference is. Whereas before it was like, Stephon Gilmore test positive, cancel the game against the Broncos, postpone it, whatever. Now it's like all of these teams have guys going on the list, but they still play the games. I'm just a little bit confused by the consistency or maybe lack thereof. I feel like the Falcons got the fired coach boost today. That's a couple weeks in a row where a team has gotten the fired coach boost. Last week, it was the Houston Texans. This week, it is the Atlanta Falcons. So now the question is, do the New York Jets do that at some point? And I think, frankly, Bri, the answer is no. I don't think that they should. I think right now it seems like Adam Gase is more valuable to the Jets continuing to lose football games. You know, with the Falcons and the Giants both winning, there's only one winless team left, the New York Jets. They were dreadful again today. And at this point, the only thing there really is to salvage in terms of the season, if you can even call this salvaging something, is really getting the number one pick. And whether you think Darnold's the guy or not, getting the number one pick would be extremely valuable for the Jets because you either get Trevor Lawrence or perhaps you still have faith in Darnold and you trade that pick for a king's ransom. Either way, I think the Jets should keep Adam Gase for the rest of the year. Seems pretty clear they're unlikely to win a football game with Adam Gase. Who cares if they go 0-16? If that gets them Trevor Lawrence or the number one overall pick, it is worth it. Speaking of worth it, did pictures with my family on Saturday. You know what I wore, Bri? I wore my Bombas socks.
You know what I'm wearing right now, Ross?
Your Bombas socks.
Yes, I am.
Nice. You want to try and show us? That'd probably be pretty hard in the press box. Oh, YouTube added value right here for Bombas. Oh my gosh. I can smell. Ew, gross.
You see the Bombas logo right there?
The Bombas logo. Look at that. I mean, look, Bombas isn't paying enough for that, Brian. I mean, Bombas is giving us some money to talk about how awesome their socks are. I don't know if they're paying to be able to have the visual of the logo and on video of youtube.com/RossTuckerNFL. At any rate, though, it's big time proof that we both wear Bombas and we like it. Plus, they've got an awesome donation program. Give a pair when you buy a pair and get 20% off your first purchase at bombas.com/Ross. That's BOMBAS.com/Ross for 20% off your first purchase. Bombas.com/Ross.
Tuck's Takes.
All right, let's start, Ross, with the New England Patriots. They are under 500 through the first 5 games of the season. That's the first time they've done that since 2002. Broncos 18, Pats 12.
Quite the difference for Bill Belichick and the Patriots versus Tom Brady and the Buccaneers today. Quite the difference. So this was a bizarre game. You know, we didn't know how the quarterbacks would be coming off of their breaks. You know, Cam had the COVID break. Drew Lock was injured. The answer, I would say, is neither one of them really played that well. Cam ran for 70-some yards. That's what they do when they're desperate, but he didn't play very well. He was under duress throughout. No Ferentz, no Shaq Mason. I mean, that revamped Patriots offensive line was not able to get it done for Cam at all today. He didn't play well. I mentioned Drew Lock. I mean, look, it should have been a done deal for the Broncos. Should have been put away. Yet Drew Lock throws 2 interceptions late, totally inexcusable, and actually gave the Patriots a chance to win. They still couldn't do it. Even with those 2 interceptions late, Brandon McManus, 6 field goals. They didn't score a touchdown the whole game. 6 field goals for the Denver Broncos. Huge win. Phillip Lindsay did, in fact, play well for the Broncos, which is really all they needed. They needed that D-line to get after Cam and Phillip Lindsay to make a few plays.
Tuck's Takes.
Derrick Henry became the first player in NFL history 200-plus rushing yards in 3 consecutive games. Titans over the Texans, 42-36.
What was that stat again?
First player in NFL history with 200 or more rushing yards in 3 consecutive games.
Wow. Is that right? That's not right, Bri.
Okay.
Derrick Henry's had over 200 yards the last 3 games?
That's what I pulled from hey, it's from the internet. It's got to be true.
If that's correct, that's unbelievable. And I didn't realize that. I'm going to check, Bri, just to make sure.
Okay.
And it looks like he had 119 yards against the Vikings. He had 57 yards against Buffalo. So maybe total yards from scrimmage?
Okay, we'll go with that.
Or maybe 3 straight years in which he's had 200 yards? I don't know, Brad. In which he had a 200-yard
I
game?
may be wrong. That's I'm not looking at it right in front of me right now. So
yeah, it's all right. It was a good effort, and it's not like I won't bring this up often, like all the time. No, look, Derrick Henry was a total beast. You are right about that. Hit a 94-yard touchdown run, which was incredible. Every time I watch Derrick Henry play, I feel like I Google Derrick Henry high school highlights. I mean, can you imagine? It's unbelievable. Titans got off to a quick start, and it looked like, okay, everybody's like, oh, man, the Titans are so good. They were rolling yet again, and then Texans came right back. I mean, I give them a lot of credit. Deshaun Watson, Romeo Crennel has those guys fighting. Then Derrick Henry has the house call 94-yard touchdown run where it's just crazy how well he moves for his size. But Deshaun Watson comes right back with the Will Fuller bomb. Deshaun Watson had, I'd say, 3 or 4 really exceptional plays in that game. I loved Crennel going for it on 4th down, by the way. I thought that was the right move. He got it done and got a touchdown. Going for 2's absolutely the right decision. You go up by 9, game over. You don't get it, you're still going to tie and go to overtime. Love that decision by Romeo Crennel. People that are criticizing him don't know what they're talking about. But unfortunately, in overtime, they won the coin toss. And Derrick Henry scored a wildcat touchdown after a long catch and run. Another big play by Henry, who really took over that game.
Tuck's Takes.
Baker Mayfield was benched by Case Keenum. Steelers win big over the Browns 38-7, but they lose linebacker Devin Bush this season with a torn ACL.
That's a big loss. He's a difference-making football player for them. He can cover tight ends and running backs. He's sideline to sideline. I know my buddy Damashek thinks he's like the Jenga piece for the Steelers. He's what they were missing since Ryan Shazier had gotten hurt. That really hurts. Feel awful for him. Feel bad for me. It was just stupid to even put one unit on the Browns. I kind of knew Baker Mayfield wasn't right. I even said that on the Even Money podcast on Tuesday. I thought maybe he could gut it out and still play okay, shoot it up. No, he was terrible. Throws a terrible pick 6 to Minkah Fitzpatrick. I should have known even more after Greg Cosell said on Thursday that he's not playing very well. And then Keenum eventually replaced him because he threw another pick that was horrible. In fairness to him, he did get bruised and battered by the Steelers' front 7 all game long. Chase Claypool making plays again. Steelers looking like one of the best teams in football.
Tuck's Takes.
Baltimore Ravens defense sacked Carson Wentz 6 times. Ravens over the Eagles 30-28.
It's insane that the Eagles had a 2-point conversion in this game to tie it late with 2 minutes left. Absolutely insane. Brian, they did nothing like the whole first half. Hightower had a brutal drop. I mean, the defense couldn't get off the field on 3rd downs. Jamon Brown started his first game at right guard for the Eagles. Played one of the worst games I've ever seen an offensive lineman play. I mean, really struggled to the point where I felt bad for him. Ravens had lots of penalties. Otherwise, the score would have been much worse. And then the Eagles, this is kind of what they do. I mean, they found a way to stay in the game. Miles Sanders, who hurt his knee, unfortunately, had a long run. He was able to lead to he fumbled in the end zone. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside got it. Then they get the 2-point play, or they fail on the 2-point play, which was like a weird Jalen Hurts. They had 2-point plays that were both the same zone read that were really, really bad. Lamar Jackson answered with a long touchdown run right up the middle where neither linebacker was anywhere close. Even more injuries for the Eagles. Driscoll, Kayvon Wallace, Zach Ertz. I mean, it's almost comical at this point, but kudos to Carson Wentz. He kept swinging after all those injuries, and the Eagles had a chance to tie it late. That he had long runs, touchdown pass to Fulgham, but then terrible 2-point conversion. I already talked about it, and they were not able to tie it. Ravens hang on.
Tuck's Takes.
Joe Judge gets his first win as a NFL head coach. Giants over Washington, 20-19.
Right. However, the Giants didn't cover the 2.5 points. I put 2 units on them on the Even Money podcast. Unbelievable. And really, 3 reasons why. Kyle Allen had 2 tremendous touchdown passes. Tremendous. I mean, he didn't play great overall. I think he had 6 sacks. The Giants defense played pretty well, but both touchdown passes were really good. Logan Thomas had a beautiful catch. I don't know why Logan Ryan let Sims get behind him for the almost tying touchdown. Ron Rivera goes for 2. I'm fine with it. That's his nickname now. Riverboat Ron wants to show the guys they're trying to win. Daniel Jones had a terrible interception on 1st and goal when they were up 13-10. Now, it was a little questionable. So there's a lot of forces working against my bet in this game. Andrew Thomas was benched. I guess he was late for a meeting. Giants, Joe Judge, he's not going to roll like that. Kudos to Joe Judge for continuing to get his team to play hard, for getting his first win. And the winning touchdown was the Tay Crowder fumble return for a touchdown, which was huge.
Tuck's Takes.
4 touchdowns from Matt Ryan. Raheem Morris and the Falcons get their first win. 40-23, Atlanta over Minnesota.
Talked about this a little bit earlier, the new coach boost. The new coach boost, which is exactly what the Atlanta Falcons got. Fast start for Julio. He looked healthy. He looked awesome. Matt Ryan played stellar throughout the game, including that last 4th down touchdown to Julio. You don't really see Matty Ice use his legs very much. Kirk Cousins was awful as the Falcons D actually came to play for once. Justin Jefferson was like the one guy that really was able to do positive things for the Vikings in this game.
Tuck's Takes.
Matthew Stafford connected with TJ Hawkinson, and now Stafford has thrown a touchdown against every team except, obviously, the Lions. Detroit over Jacksonville, 34-16.
So big days for DeAndre Swift. Happy for him. Young man from Philly. I've known him since 9th grade. Happy he had the drop that cost him the game against the Bears week 1. Really happy for him. Kenny Golladay makes a huge difference for this team. The Jags are legit bad everywhere. Like O-line, quarterback, defense. I mean, I'll give the Lions defense some credit, but the Jags are showing that they are who we thought they were.
Tuck's Takes.
The Indianapolis Colts overcame a 21-point deficit to beat the Bengals 31-27.
Bengals jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and the Colts, I had the Colts as one of my teasers. By the way, so far I'm 2-0 on the teasers. I'm actually 2.5-0 on the teasers. I need the Andy Dalton to come through tomorrow night. But so far, all 5 of my teaser legs have cashed. So for those of you that were complaining on the Eva Money podcast about my teasers, come on, dudes, come on. Anyway, Bengals jump out to a 21-0 lead. I was stunned, but the Colts were fumbling the ball, 3 and outs. But then you know what? It was Jack Doyle. It was Trey Burton. Kept them in it. Those guys kept them back in it. It was Rivers' best game as a Colt, throwing a lot to guys like Marcus Johnson, who was on the practice squad earlier in the year, as T.Y. Hilton continues to do nothing. Joe Burrow did a lot of good things. A.J. Green's best game of the year still wasn't enough for the Bengals.
Tuck's Takes.
Chicago Bears improved to 5-1 with a 23-16 win at the Carolina Panthers. And Ross, that 5 games, wasn't that the total before the season started for the Bears? Wasn't that their over-under?
No.
In wins?
No, it was 8 or 8.5, I think.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Carolina was 5.
Okay.
Carolina, and they're gonna get more than 5. But no, Chicago was, I think, 8 or 8.5, and I took the under, and I'm gonna be wrong on that. Primarily because their defense is playing unbelievable right now. Now, they've been very fortunate. You know, they shouldn't have won the Lions game. I mean, the Bucks, the officiating in that game. But you know what? You do not have to apologize for 5-1 in the NFL. I'm done with that. The Bears find ways to win. They've got a good coach. They deserve the credit. The red zone was a struggle for Carolina. I mean, Chicago's still not playing that great on offense. Foles wasn't great, but he did enough. The touchdown pass to Cole Kmet was obviously huge. But the story of the game, as usual, was Akeem Hicks and the boys getting all over Teddy Bridgewater.
Tuck's Takes.
As you mentioned earlier, the New York Jets, the only winless team left in the NFL this season. Joe Flacco had a 28-yard sack. Miami over the Jets, 24-0.
Think about how sad that is. Think about how sad that is, that is like the Jets stat that you took away from the game. But you're right. I mean, you're right. They actually had more time of possession. I don't even know if they gave up a third down conversion the whole game. It's just a very, very weird game. Fitzmagic and Myles Gaskin got the Dolphins going early. You know, when Fitz is throwing these touchdown passes to these tight ends, Smythe and Shaheen, nobody's near these guys. There's no third down conversions forever in the game. The Jets are a sad football team. Like I know guys on the team. I know Van Roten. I know Flacco. I know some of these guys. I feel bad watching them play. They are a sad, sad football team. Their highlight of their game was a nice butt interception by Marcus May. He was able to pin the ball to his keister. Hinder, that is for you right there, Bo Troutman. Hinder. And keister, whatever. There's about 30 of them. You think there might be more words, Bri, for that part of the body than any other word, any other object or anything in the world. Can you think of anything that there's more words for?
No, I think that's a good one. Like Heine.
Heine, hinder, rear, tush, tushy, keister,
Tuchus.
but
Gluteus
ASS,
maximus.
we're a family-friendly show. ASS, yeah. Baby got back. What else? What else, Brian? There's more.
Yeah,
there's
the Gluteus maximus. That's the official one. Rump. That's a good one.
Rump. My lovely lady hump. I mean, there's a lot.
Are we done?
No, actually. Dude, could we get 20? We could legitimately maybe get 20. That's unbelievable. There's no way there's more words for any other body part, any other thing in the world, period.
Did you say your bottom?
Bottom? Did we say bottom?
I'm not sure.
Your seat? Some people say your seat.
Okay. Yeah.
They do. Gluteus maximus. Did you say that?
Twice. Yes.
Okay. I thought I came up with
You
that.
you were talking over me, so you probably didn't hear me.
Yeah, definitely. Glutes. Were the
Your
good
rear.
Lord. We said rear.
We must have said rear. Yeah.
Were the good Lord split you?
Nice.
I mean, there is a lot, dude. If anybody on social media can come up with one we missed, I'll give you a shout out at Ross Tucker NFL. I'll give you a shout out on the show. If you can come up with any that we missed, and or count how many we came up with, because we came up with a bunch. Now I feel like I want to do it. And dude, Brian, you did not Google it, did you?
No, I did not.
I did not Google it. That was all off the top of our head. Trying to think, people that have little kids, hinder, hiney, tush, seat, butt, rear. Yeah, I mean, we got most of them. There might be one or two we missed, but we got most of them. That was epic right there. What were we even talking about? Oh, Marcus May's interception. Thank you, Marcus. So the Jets actually traded nose tackle Steve McClendon like right after the game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't even know. I guess I don't know if he'll get on the team plane back to New York or if he'll just take a flight up to Tampa from Miami, although all of his gear is probably there. By the way, while we're recording this, Bri, the Niners are already up 14-0. So me laying the points with the Rams was a bad choice. I'm glad I only put one unit on it. Anyway, we'll talk about that on Tuesday's Power Rankings Tuesday podcast. One other thing. It's going around on social media. Tua Tagovailoa got in at the end of that game for the Dolphins. Didn't really do much, made a couple throws. But then there was a picture of him, Bri, afterwards where he went out on the field with his shoulder pads and uniform on and just sat at the 15-yard line in the empty stadium and just soaked it all in. And that gives me the chills. That makes my eyes fill up. I think people forget how hard it is to come where he's from in Hawaii, to overcome the injuries he's had, especially last year. And he made it. No matter what happens after this, maybe he stinks, maybe he's awesome, but he made it. He played in an NFL football game. He made it in the NFL and played in an NFL football game. So kudos to you, Tua. That brought back a lot of emotions for me. Sometimes people are so caught up in the money or he's the number 5 overall pick or whatever. They forget he's a 22-year-old kid who today a lifelong dream came true. So happy for him.
Tuck's Takes.
And finally, where I'm at right now in Tampa Bay, Aaron Rodgers got his 3rd pick 6 in his illustrious career. That's pretty amazing. And it was the 2nd one against the Tampa Bay Bucks. They jump out to a 10-0 lead. Tampa, 38 unanswered points, the final 38-10.
So first, Bri, as always, got to start with the food. We know that there's a pretty high standard there in Tampa.
There is a very high standard in Tampa. I'm going to say 2 weeks ago when I was here for the Charger game, with the salmon, they really set the bar high. It was good. It was very good, but not as good as it was 2 weeks ago. Your choices were brats and hot dogs, and then what they called chicken booyah. It was chicken with vegetables in some sort of sauce or roux over rice. Very good, but it wasn't salmon. It wasn't like it was a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to give it a B+. But it was very good.
Got it. All right. Well, I'll take it. What did you think of the game overall, Bri?
I did not expect this, and I don't think anybody expected this, but it was fun to watch, and anybody who said that Brady has lost a step is just flat wrong.
Totally agree. I mean, Aaron Jones got off to a quick start, but then, and they were up 10-0, and people were like, oh, Packers are unbeatable. Then Aaron Rodgers did that little hip thrust thing after he thought he scored a touchdown. It's unbelievable how downhill it went after that. Unbelievable. Pick 6 to Jamel Dean. Then he threw another interception on a tip slant to Devontae Adams that almost was another pick 6, but instead it was a Ronald Jones touchdown. Then Brady marched down the field, dinking and dunking before a nice play to Tyler Johnson touchdown to go up 21-10. Then Brady threw a gorgeous touchdown pass to Gronk to go up 28-10. And really, like, let's be honest, Aaron Rodgers was terrible in this game. Now, the Bucs D was awesome. They were battering him all game long. What was it, 38 unanswered points? He was getting the crap beat out of him. It's a good thing they pulled him from the game, but he was awful. The Packers offensive line, especially after Bakhtiari got hurt, they were terrible. That was an absolute beatdown by the Bucs. Really, really impressive. Make sure, hopefully, you guys get a chance. We won't have the college draft podcast until Wednesday this week because of all of the different travel to Buffalo, back from Buffalo, etc. So college draft will be Wednesday, but we'll still have Even Money on Tuesday and a Power Rankings Tuesday, much like this show, will be available after midnight. So you'll be able to get all over it as early in the morning as you want on the Power Rankings Tuesday. So check that out. And if you get a chance to check out my game tomorrow, if you're driving around, listen for it on the radio. I'll be calling the Bills Chiefs. Can't wait to go to my old stomping grounds. I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, RossTucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.